Well, hello and welcome again to another episode of Off the Air with ALBYTHERE. My name is Albie, your host, and today we have a very special treat for all my viewers. He's originally from the city of Downey, California, where he attended 4 years and graduated at his alma mater of Warner High School. He is now currently residing in the city of San Pedro, where you can find him servicing as a lifestyle coach, a sound guide instructor, and also a well-established artist in the area. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, ask you to please put your hands together and give a warm welcome for today's special guest and my longtime friend, Mr. Fabian Rodriguez. Mr. Fabian, how are you, my friend?
Good.
Thank you for being here on the show, man. And more or less, thank you for opening up your home and just letting us do this here.
Welcome to my
This really means a lot to me, man. Thank you. How you been, brother?
Good. Excited to be here. Excited to meet
You're a hard man to get a hold of, man. You seem like you're always
all
on the
over the
move.
place.
You're really always moving. So the fact that we had the time here now to sit down and catch up again, and just to hang out on my set here on the show, again, means really a lot to me, man.
Thank you. And sometimes I have to catch up to myself.
Yeah, man, you're really a man that's always on the move. In fact, I know you're about to leave town here next week. You're heading up north for a workshop of some sort. Is that right?
Yeah, workshop, and at the end of the month, taking off to Peru.
Ooh, okay.
So we were able to squeeze it in finally.
You know, for my viewers that aren't aware of the show, we're basically a traveling talk show where we interact with artists, musicians, and today, for example, a lifestyle coach. My motto is, it's not about the quality, it's more about the camaraderie. So again, the fact that you're here means a lot to me, and let's just have some fun today. So starting off this interview, I kind of want to jump into your work with doing the sound bath work.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find yourself doing getting into the music of sound bath?
So really, I'll give people a little kind of understanding of what a sound bath is. It's a guided sound meditation.
Yes.
So where people either lay down or stay seated up, and with just a collection of instruments that I have from around the world, and I've been using now for a couple of years. This has been probably about 5 going on almost 6 years of doing sound, working with sound frequencies, vibration. I found it to be an amazing tool to help people tap into that meditative state.
Sure.
It could be challenging to get into that deep meditation, just sitting there. That's how I used to struggle with it. And then using instruments, I found that it would just put me in a spot. And so I actually picked it up was from going out to the jungle, working with some shamans, and the sounds and the instruments they would use would induce me into this deep transcendental state. And when I came back home, I was just like, how'd they do that? Started playing around with some instruments, metal bowls, Tibet metal bowls, and testing it on friends, and boom, they would drop into a deep meditative state, and from one bowl it turned into, oh man, I need a warehouse. I don't even know how many I play even during a sound bath.
Yeah,
actually,
because it's a lot of sound coming from 1 or 2 individuals, and I've actually got to experience one of your sound baths, and I recall being, like you said, in this transitional state of. Normally, for someone like me, to meditate takes work. There's so much outside noise or distraction. My head's always racing. But when you play these instruments, these worldly instruments that I've never heard of before, it put me in a real solid state of mind, body, and soul, I felt.
Yeah, what it does is it gives your brains another task. So when you're sitting there, the task when you're meditating is just to focus on your breath.
Breathing.
Yeah, just breathing. But then all of a sudden the mind will start wandering, and you're wondering, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's going on?
Yes.
Then you have to remind it to breathe, and you just pay attention to the breath. The mind can only do one thing at a time.
Right.
But it'll do multiple things back to back. So with instruments, people laying down, all they got to do is really listen.
Sure.
Just really listen. And of course, sometimes the thoughts start coming in. You start judging stuff. You start trying to figure out what's going on, and then that's the part of surrendering to the experience is where you click. And so with sounds, with something like a didgeridoo or a gong, it's going to just immerse you in it. There's almost you can't get out of it. You're just immersed in vibration. And so after a while, the frequency of the mind taps into that.
Wow, interesting. Very much interesting. Did you I mean, how did you find yourself getting into this? Was this something that you said as a kid, hey, I want to become a lifestyle coach and do sound baths? Or
No.
was there a mentor that got you involved in something like this?
Well, it started, I actually was a personal trainer and working on the physical part, the physical element. And with clients working at a gym and also privately, I found that there was still a deeper level that I wanted to tap into with them. Versus just being, hey, how do I look? I want to be able to run a marathon or something. A lot of clients still had stressors of the mind, emotional baggage. And so I started myself personally looking into meditation and other means, plant medicines and working with shamans. And so I opened up a whole nother realm to holistic wellness and sound being a tool that helped me for myself to get into these states of meditation. I was saying I started incorporating that with clients also. So I started outside of personal training. I started doing these sound baths, and I would invite clients, and they would tap into something else, and just sometimes for a moment to just stop and allow yourself to be still is actually nowadays pretty gold.
Sure it is. For someone that's just starting into something like sound bathing, what would something that you would recommend them to bring? Let's say if you were going to put on one, do you just come willing with a free open mind, with a pillow and a blanket? Or
Yeah, exactly that, really. Just bring a mat, pillow, blanket, because you're going to get as comfortable as you can in your little cocoon.
you got nest in, huh?
Yeah, just get comfortable, and because once you're comfortable, the brain just does the rest of the work. You just got to relax. I guide the people through some breath work, which is, think of when somebody has an anxiety attack or they're out of breath.
Yeah.
Coming back into the breath calms you back down. So doing some breath work gets people into that space, and then they're open. And so really just telling people, hey, just be open-minded and just let it happen.
Wow, very interesting, man. And I know that, like you said in the beginning of this interview, at the end of the month, you're heading out to Peru in the jungle.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about this journey to Peru that you put on annually.
So I've been hosting these retreats after the first time I went out to the Amazon about 6 years ago. I worked with some shamans and worked with a specific master teacher plant called ayahuasca.
Well, I've heard of that before.
Yeah. Powerful teacher.
This isn't the stuff you can just get at Whole Foods, too.
Oh no, this is no.
You got to go to a selective store.
Yeah, you got to go to Amazon and not Amazon.com. I'm talking about the Amazon.
So please, let's talk about this ayahuasca tea.
Ayahuasca is a concoction of two plants. It's a vine and a plant called the chacruna plant, and when mixed together, you get what's called DMT effect. Now, the DMT effect can last. This whole experience could be a 6 to 8 hour journey.
Wow.
And that's just a journey of the mind unraveling and opening yourself up to. It's a very non-linear process. So you're open to every possible experience, element, whatever it opens up, whether it be past lives, whether it be to the cosmic energies, to earth, to visions, to just being inside of yourself. And so it opens a portal within that gives you this window of time to delve into all those aspects of traumas. You could, they're doing a lot of PTSD work with soldiers
War
coming
veterans.
back, war veterans,
Mm-hmm.
cancer, everything. The medications that we've prescribed for these ailments of PTSD and stressors and anxiety and depression haven't been working much.
Right.
They've given it its run, and so a lot of people are going back to its roots, to where a lot of this stuff comes from.
With something like someone that's dealing with drug recovery or maybe AA and things like that, is this something you would recommend them to dabble into as well, or is that something that you kind of want to lightly step into?
Yeah, there's no light stepping into it. It's going to be all or nothing, really. But you do some preparation beforehand. Your diet. So you start aligning yourself to cleanse your body and everything so that you can align with this high frequency plant. It's a plant.
Yes.
It's so plants, trees, all these earth medicines are exactly that. They're just no ego. They're just high frequency. They eat light. Unless we spray them with GMO, then different. And don't eat GMOs.
Quick plug.
So you're taking in knowledge from the earth, wisdom from the earth. And it's going to be potent because it's going to show you what's going on inside of you, what's the mess going on. So you want to clean up as much as possible, your diet, your physical body, your environmental.
Sure.
Get yourself in a state of prime yourself ready to receive this information.
Interesting. And now, is there a guide? Is there someone that's walking through this, or is this something that you're taking on all alone as you're traveling through this experience?
Well, I guide the people there, and so I've been doing this 3 times a year, and so the path is set all the way there. But then we work with the shaman of the area of that village, him and his wife and his brother. So 3 of them are holding the space, basically driving the spaceship. And it's all with song and vibrations.
Almost like a sound bath then.
Yes, it's basically like a sound bath.
Wow. Okay.
And through that vibration, they're gonna, roller coaster's gonna go down deep or you're gonna go up high. And so they guide you through it, but you're left to also work through your own stuff. They're not gonna baby you. They're holding the whole space, and you go in there and you unravel and go inward.
Wow. That sounds really fascinating. I mean, you do a lot of fascinating things, and I learn a lot about you not only through our personal relationship, but also through the social media which the show is aired on, such as Facebook and Instagram. Something I saw recently is that you also put on something called, is it Kambo?
Yeah, combo.
Combo. It's a type of ceremonial thing with, is it a frog of some sort?
So it's actually, from the Amazon, it's a tree frog.
Tree frog.
You've probably seen pictures, it's a green, waxy tree frog from the Amazon, and the tribes have been using this for quite a long time, and the toxins on its back that are used for its defense purpose against other animals, it's completely has no enemies because all animals know not to eat it. It's toxic. Toxic to the animal, but not to us. So when extracted from its back, and this is through the tribes, so I source it directly from them. Ethically harvested. So with this liquid that comes off of its back, it's like a milky substance. It turns into a hard resin, and then once it's liquefied again, it's administered on just under the skin. So a small burn mark is made, and it's administered just under the skin, not in the blood stream, but the lymphatic system. And it's a physical cleanse. So they use it as a vaccination in the jungle. They use it even on their children, and the peptides within it and the hormones that you boost up, it's a powerful immune booster.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah, so I don't get sick ever. I've been using it now for over 2 years. Every couple months I'll feel like, hey, time to just cleanse the body. Just cleansing from, you name it, from there are foods, whatever, to like GMOs, sugars, toxins in the air, to emotional baggage, to stuff in the air.
So it just does an all-around clean wipe and a new download.
Oh yeah, it's a master reset button.
Yeah, the master reset button.
The little button in the back of electronic devices?
Yeah.
Not the reset.
Control, Alt, Delete, just all at once there.
You gotta stick that needle in there and press it. And
I know that your medicines in your practice, everything from making your own kombucha tea that you've done before. What's your take on things like mushrooms and maybe even THCs? And we talked about DMT. Are these things that you would dabble in and recommend some of your clients to kind of experience or tread lightly with?
Tread lightly with, because these are powerful medicines. These are raw materials from the earth, and we learn how to alchemize them to use them as medicine.
Sure.
And next thing you know, they can open up your consciousness. Ultimately, is to open up your consciousness and shed some light on whatever it is, whether it be your purpose or releasing trauma, connecting to self, connecting to the actual earth. So all these medicines, they're not drugs, they're medicines. If used properly, under even guidance, or the set and setting, and also the most important part is your intention.
Of course. You
come in with an intention. What is the intention? And if it's done in a ceremonial, sacred way, you can have an amazing experience. You could have a life-changing experience.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a continuous, that is the journey.
That is the journey.
That's the life journey. And so everything from even THC, being that it's also a plant that has a spirit, is a plant that's abused. Abused to the point that it actually, in the beginning, it'll give you creativity.
Yes.
If it's used right now with CBD, if somebody going through chemotherapy, they'll administer CBD to kick in the hunger. help you sleep if you need. If you're lethargic, it can help you get up. If you're too high, it can help you come down.
There's many resources.
Yeah, so knowing how to use it prescribed can help whatever it is. But then the plants also have their own personalities.
Go on.
So THC or Santa Maria, not a weed, we respect it, is also, she gives you all those when you need that. But then if you abuse it, she can take it all right back.
Interesting.
Next thing you know, you become lethargic, you lose your creativity. Next thing you know, you start overeating. Next thing you know, you just want to stay home, you don't want to socialize.
Wow.
Seriously?
There's really no gray area. It's one or the other then is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one or the other, but also coming with respect and keeping the sacred element to all these medicines. Then they work for their good. If not, you get the other side of it.
That was really enlightening. That's really good stuff there, Fabian.
This is the time where we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Fabian. So I ask you guys just to please sit tight, and we'll see you guys all in just a bit.